I'm going to show another clip. You can bring that next one up, Riley, to kind of explore this.
People, come on, let's
bring the volume up
a
just a little
quicker,
bit.
please. A little quicker, we're losing time. Come on in, take My name is Mr. Hahn. This, of course, is a title of courtesy. And I will extend that to you, Mr. or Miss, as the circumstances allow. Welcome to Music Appreciation. This is a class in which we will be studying the history of music. Who would like to give me a definition of what music is? Any music. What do you think? Music. What do they think that music is in general? What do they think? Anybody? Nobody? Okay, let's go to the text, and we turn to page 4, and we read that music is sound in melodic or harmonic combinations, whether produced by voice or instrument. Now, questions? Anybody at all? No? Good.
Who knows what movie that is? Mr. Holland's Opus. All right. Mr. Holland is played by Richard Dreyfuss, and he is a gifted musician. He is when he wants to write music, he's going to play it. He has this wonderful gift of music, but while he's trying to get started, he's teaching school. He's a substitute teacher, and he's teaching music. And how is he doing? Yeah, he's not doing very well at all. All right. How is he trying to teach? By the book. His way he went to the book, ask questions, and what kind of response is he getting? Yeah, nothing. Nothing. He's like, not getting. I want to watch this next scene here. This is about 5 months later.
Anybody here know the difference between the Ionian and the Dorian scale? Anybody?
I just wanted to confirm the fact that I've made absolutely no impact on you in the last 5 months.
Mr. Sullivan, what kind of music do you like to listen to? Don't be afraid.
Rock and roll.
What about you?
Rock and roll.
You?
Classical.
Brown noser. Does anybody here like Johann Sebastian Bach? Other than you? I'll bet all of you, whether you know it or not, already like Johann Sebastian Bach. What's this called?
First Concerto.
Who wrote it? Wrong. That was Minuet in G, and it was written by Johann Sebastian Bach. You hear it? Bum, 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 bum. And he wrote it in 1725. They are both prime examples of the Ionian scale. Now listen, and see if you can hear the connective tissue between what I just played and this.
Okay, what just happened? Yeah, he's playing Bach. That was Bach. Who likes Bach? You like Bach? Oh, come on, you're having fun there. I see the captain go, right? All right. So for 5 months, he's been trying to teach by the book. And did you notice the beginning of the scene 5 months later, what are the kids doing? Like big, you know, yeah, they're like, oh, and he said, obviously that made no impression at all, right? But he tries something different. He goes with his own gifts, and he points out that these things he's been trying to teach them, that they're connected to things that they're connected with, right? He plays the music, right? Gets down and like, oh, like, wow, we didn't even realize. I think part of what we forget is, churches that have done this for ages, play the same music, right? We use the same instrument. It's interesting to me, do you know that the organ, where the organ was first used? We know. The organ was a bar instrument. That's what they played in bars, all right? And so was the music. So like, there's a hymn that goes, "We worship you, God, our Creator, Redeemer, in grateful devotion." Anybody ever heard that one? Well, it actually went like this. It was, "There once was a girl and her name was Matilda. She looked like a bear and she ate like one too." All right? Right, I let that go. Oh my goodness. And there's this point where he realized, you know what, I got to connect with who I really am. I mean, he loves that music too, right? And he sees the connection, and he say, oh, I need to embrace who I am and use that, and let that be part of it. I think part of what we're talking about here is that God has given all of us gifts, and it's to be used in ways to connect. I think of it was some months ago when an angel came to me. She'd been noticing that Ron would come and join us on some Sundays, and Ron is deaf. And an angel had been taking classes on what? On sign language. She said, I have this thing that I can use to help someone, to serve someone. And she said, I don't want to be talking about it. I'm sorry I'm talking about it now, but, don't want to be a special recognition. She said, I just have someone to use, right? I think about, I don't know, a couple of years ago, Mark said, we have a family in need here, and I can cook. I'm going to make, soup, and we'll have people bring canned soup and things, to give, and we'll help support this family. And it's like, great, go with it, Then Neil came and said, I want you, Pastor, to learn how to do sign language and stand up front here, right? Or I want you to cook, which could be kind of dangerous sometimes. I've burned soup, haven't I? I've burned soup. I've done it. It takes some work, but you can do it, all right? We have all these different gifts, and we had Adam up here last week. This was a song that he wrote. It's like, right, it's been sitting there the whole time, and he has a song with people, sharing in all kinds of ways. But it isn't just in worship. It's like how do we do this in all of life? Click on this next thing if we could. This is. Anybody know what this is? Nope, nobody knows. This is the predecessor to the temple in the Old Testament. When they were moving around in the desert after coming out of Egypt, they needed a place to worship, so they built this tabernacle, which is another name for a tent. All right, and click on it. You can see it's really pretty intricate inside there. Oh, look at it. I mean, there's these poles and these tapestries, and they're colored, and there's the Ark of the Covenant in there. And next one, and actually, this is the place where God's presence would come and dwell among the people, and they would stop. All right, so this is extremely important. And I remember when I was in seminary, I actually used the text where they talk about building this. The thing goes on for like 3 chapters about how long the poles should be, how much gold to use, what color you should do the measurements and everything of the fabric, and it went on, and about the 2 guys who were going to do this. And I, a number of people said they're doing that kind of yawn thing. And I said, the reason I read this out and bored you all was someone who really enjoys that, like those 2 guys, they just eat that up, right? You ever been a thing where someone that, you talk about something, you may be bored stiff, but it's what they love and you're just really into it, right? Where's Wayne? Wayne kind of snuck out. Wayne will talk about amazing things about how things work in the political realm and especially economic realm. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I know. No, I don't know what you're saying. Right? But he gets it, right? It's great to have that. So here we have people with all these different gifts, right? And a lot of times in churches, you have people who have wonderful gifts. It could be music. It could be, out in the economic realm. It could be, in realms of advertising or building, who knows what. And what do we have them doing? They're handing out bulletins, right? We set this up as if that I'm the center, and we need to look at different ways of being. One of the things that a lot of churches have been exploring with this is how you change that focus. One of the things I've noticed since we've been in this room, we have the music over to the side more and the screen over here. When they're right together, it starts to become this thing where we're focused on the people doing this. And it's not that we don't appreciate them, but it used to be church was focused on the person leading, and now we kind of, with the whole seeker mode, it became focused on the band, but still the focus is on them. What's the focus in worship to be about? It's about God and our journey with God. So like one church was talking about, they put the band in the back. So you don't look at the band. They provide it, but it's so that you're surrounded with music. Or they go with DJs instead, and the music is might be it's the center of some God. So the focus is not on who's playing or how well it's being done, but on God in the center of things. So they don't do messages. They might do discussions. Or 3 out of 4 Sundays, the youth do the message rather than the pastor. So you realize the pastor's not at the center of it all. And worship isn't planned by the leaders. If anybody can come to the worship plan, and you put any ideas you want out there. This is interesting. Some of the things I read that they do. Some groups will have a breakfast when they gather on a Sunday morning. And over breakfast, they all sit at tables and you share about your journey. All right? Wouldn't that be interesting? Maybe, especially when we get back in the cafeteria in a few weeks, we can just do breakfast. And we share about our journey where the music surrounds us. Or some people they'll give a testimony. Or they have like an open mic. You can come up front and share whatever's on your heart. It can be dangerous, but you know what? That's part of a good relationship where everybody participates, right? Or, like I said, you have the open mic, you might have a prayer table over here where you go to pray. Or a conversation table over here if you want to talk and share with others. Or an art table over here, you could even do finger painting. We could put a cloth on the table, and it could be like an altar we could paint, with our images to God. Yeah. Or we can make mass, right? Share about who we are. One of the pastors talked about, it's like we have karaoke church. So if people get up and say, we have a woman, she sings, it sounds like a chipmunk, but we love it because she's singing to God. Or another that plays the accordion, and it's the worst thing I ever heard, but we just love it because she's out there sharing, what she loves to God. Could be that the message of the week isn't prepared by me or to decide the topic, but we can all get together through the week, and what comes to the discussion is where we go with the message on Sunday, that the people, we decide where that's going to be. Could have a discussion format where we're just kind of sharing. I'm not up here talking, even though I'm doing now, like I said, this is kind of our growing area, but where we enter discussion together in our times together. Or maybe times of silence. We kind of do that. The band plays, and silence isn't just the lack of sound, it's a solitude, it's a place of entering into God. And we do some of that already, and I think it's helpful we have that sharing. And that we share about our own journey in our times of prayer. But to explore that maybe in a deeper way. Or some churches have gone to focusing on the smaller gatherings as a place they get together. Right now, this time is kind of our small gathering, and a lot of emerging churches are like that. They're like 15 to 40 people, because beyond that, it's hard to really relate. But if they have more people who connect, either they let that Sunday time be like a family reunion, and then everyone else gathers during the week in small groups, or they multiply and have multiple places on Sunday morning where people can gather so that we can still have that deep, intimate relationship and walk together. The other thing is, it's not just, again, about worship. We said it's about all of our week. And so some of the things they're doing are some things we've done. This is interesting. If you thought about other ways we've sought to be church out in the world, we did the 1649 event a few months ago, lifting up this homeless project for youth. We've done the pool event for the community, or Summit Park. We did YMCA a few years back, too, that just opened that night for everyone to come to the Y. Talked about marking the Super Bowl, or we've done the mission trip. It's going to be interesting. What if we acted like it was a mission trip all the time for all of us? What would that look like? Kelly Fryer talks about the priesthood of all believers that Martin Luther lifted up. And I was thinking about this. When you think of a priest, especially in a Catholic church, what kind of role do they have? Where are they in the role? Okay, it's a hot day, I know. Not as hot as it was last week. They're at the center of everything, right? Can you have communion without the priest there? No. Can you have confirmation? No. You can't do a wedding without the priest. You can't be, all these things are central. Father Gary and I, we do lunch once a month, and he's just overwhelmed. We do 12 funerals, in a month. It's just amazing. I'm I haven't done 12 funerals in the last 3 years, right? It's just, right? And so because it's so centered, and yet Martin Luther was saying, we're all the priests. We're all at the center. We're the ones connected, and especially in the Middle Ages, the Reformation time, it was even more that way. The priest was the only way you connected with God. Saying we're all priests. We're all here to share and to connect with God and help others connect.